Hey, did you give me that donut?
Yeah, you want one?
Wait, are we rolling?
Yeah.
Oh! Hi, and welcome back to ABC News, live in Los Angeles, California. Today is May 8, 1984. This just in. The Soviet Union has just announced that they will not be competing in the Olympic Games in Los Angeles this year. The Soviet Union claims that they cannot keep their athletes safe from the many protests and physical attacks. However, many Americans speculate it is because of the United States' boycott of the last Olympic Games in Moscow. The United States did not attend the Games in 1980, protesting the Russian intervention in Afghanistan. As of today, the Soviet Union has convinced 13 of its allies to also not compete in the Olympic Games. The Soviet Union has just released a claim saying that from the very first days that America has publicized the Olympics, it's been saying bad things about the Soviet Union, basically. Russian officials claim that because of all this anti-Soviet propaganda, that the Russian athletes would not be safe. However, the White House responded saying that the charges that the Soviet Union are pressing against them are nothing of concern, that they're not doing anti-Soviet propaganda, and that the Russian boycott is obviously just a response to the U.S. boycotting the Olympics back in 1980. Here are some clips from the 1980 boycott. This just in. On March 21st, 1980, President Jimmy Carter just announced that the U.S. will not be competing in the 1980 Olympic Games. Those are 160 U.S. athletes that will not be competing. The United States is boycotting the Olympics of Moscow because the Soviets have intervened in Afghanistan in 1979 to bolster the country's pro-Soviet regime. Here's President Jimmy Carter's speech.
Massive Soviet military forces have invaded the small, non-aligned, sovereign nation of Afghanistan. 50,000 heavily armed Soviet troops have crossed the border. The Soviets claim, falsely, that they were invited into Afghanistan to help protect that country from some unnamed outside threat. This invasion is an extremely serious threat to peace because of a threat of further Soviet expansion into neighboring countries in Southwest Asia, and also because such an aggressive military policy is unsettling to other peoples throughout the world. This is a callous violation of international law and the United Nations Charter.
And I have notified the Olympic Committee that with Soviet invading forces in Afghanistan, neither the American people nor I will support sending an Olympic team to Moscow.
This announcement came only 1 month after his previous announcement of the Soviet Union invading Afghanistan. Thanks. Back to you, Emma.
Along with the United States, Canada, West Germany, and Japan joined the United States in boycotting the Olympics this year. Here's a report from Michelle in Germany.
Thanks, Emma. I'm currently in Germany, and I thought I'd report on these athletes over here and interview them about their feelings towards this boycott. Hello, so what is your name?
I'm Georgiana McNair, and I play for Germany's soccer team.
So, do you support the decision that Jimmy Carter and your country has made to boycott the Olympics?
Yes, I do. I support my country and what it's decided, and I also support my fellow brothers and sisters over there in Afghanistan.
Many Americans have pitied the athletes who have worked so hard to compete in the 1980 Moscow Olympics, who might not be able to compete in the 1984 Olympics. Also, at the same time as this is happening, many Americans are supporting the cause of boycotting the 1980 Olympics in order to ensure and support the idea of freedom. I've decided to interview this Russian lady over here about her thoughts on the boycott. So ma'am, what are your thoughts on the boycott in America?
It's disgraceful. The people have done nothing wrong. They're simply following the orders. They should stay in Afghanistan, and America needs to get it together.
Okay, you've heard it here, folks.
No boycott. Mata Russia! Mata Russia!
You've heard it here from 2 Olympic athletes. Now back to you, Emma.
80 nations were represented at the Moscow Games, the smallest number since 1956. The presidential announcement came right after the Soviet Union failed to comply with Carter's February 20th, 1980 decline to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan. It marked the first and only time the U.S. has ever boycotted the Olympics so far. And I imagine in a couple years from now, say 2019, crazy year, I know, that the U.S. still maybe would not have ever boycotted any Olympics. Crazy.
That was a clip from 1980. Today I'm here to interview 2 Olympic athletes with differing points of view on the boycott. But first, an important message from our sponsor.
Honey, we have ants at our house. Did you call Cooper's Pest Control?
I didn't call Cooper's Pest Control. I thought you were going to call Cooper's Pest Control.
You're right. I'll call Cooper's Pest Control.
I'm glad you called Cooper's Pest Control.
You should call Cooper's Pest Control too if you have ants and rodents. Call Cooper's Pest Control for all your ant and rodent needs. 540-555-5555. That's 540-555-5555.
Here I am to interview Georgiana McNair, 4-time gold medalist in soccer.
Guten Tag. I'm Georgiana McNair.
So, what are your thoughts about the boycott?
The boycott doesn't really affect me one way or another because we all know that Russia was going to lose anyway.
Here we have it, folks. We're going to interview this Russian lady over here. So what are your thoughts about the boycott?
We must boycott. There's too much propaganda against us and we could be attacked if we go to America. Also, you boycott us, we boycott you. Revenge plus safety, I mean, you Americans deserve it. Mata Russia!
You've heard it here first. Now back to you, Emma.
Congratulations, America. We have just swept the Olympic record of 83 gold medals in the 1984 Olympic Games. However, while the Soviet Union wasn't there, Americans say that the diplomatic impact of the action was quite small, and that the impact on the Games, however, was quite immense without the completion of the Soviet Union and the 13 other allies. It doesn't really matter because good job, America, you just got 83 gold medals.
I'm here to interview this man over here about his thoughts on the Soviet boycott. So, what is your name, sir?
My name's Boz Johnson. That's my wife Dottie over yonder.
So, how do you feel about the Soviet boycott?
I never much cared for them Soviets anyway. A bunch of communist pinkos. I just don't care much for them.
You've heard it here, folks. That's our news for this evening. Be sure to check us out tomorrow. Thanks, and have a good night.